Welcome back to From Bedrock to Java. This is episode 16 of my survival series here on Minecraft. In today's episode, I plan on working on a custom biome for a beach project that I kind of had in mind for a while now. But in order to start our beach project, we of course need a lot of sand. So the first step to any beach project is, well, we gotta go ahead and destroy a whole biome. And that biome, of course, is the desert. Goodbye, desert! Okay, so let's just pretend I went ahead and collected all of those 3 shulker boxes of sand on recording, because apparently I forgot to unpause my replay mod, and yeah, I didn't have the footage to put into a time-lapse, so y'all just got that instead. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. But anyways, I ended up finding a pillager tower that was in the desert. That was a long horn. And I ended up finding some LAs to take home and hopefully be used for some farms or other purposes. And being the kind of guy I am, I saw some bunnies and I decided, you know what? We're gonna take those home too. And I basically took a larger bite than I could really chew because this was a really big bite. Because bunnies do not want to climb blocks for some reason. And LA, they fly around a lot, but don't fly when you want them to fly, and it's such a pain. It took a lot of work, but don't worry, I did end up getting everything into the portal. However, there was a bit of a problem. Once I got back home and got back up to my nether portal, which is raised really high up because this was the one that's on the nether roof, and I still wanted to have a portal down below. Yeah, Bunny may or may not have died. The poor Bunny! Oh, I'm so sorry, Bunny. I should have landed you in the water. I kind of forgot y'all took extra fall damage. Man. The worst part about this is that it happened twice. However, not in the way you would think. So I decided to fly off into the water because I figured if it falls in the water, it can't take fall damage, which I was right. However, I ended up losing the bunny because I took too sharp of a turn and it fell into the water. So I lost both the bunny and the lead, so I had to go look for the lead to get the bunny back. By the time I found the lead, I had to basically carry the bunny back up onto the land. So I slowly pulled it up to the land and started climbing up some of the blocks. Sure, I could have done this in a safer way and made an actual staircase, but I decided, you know what? I'm too lazy to do that, so let's just use the natural terrain like so. And yeah, that's where my problem started. So there's a lot of blocks here, and especially since leads are kind of funny with the way that animals move, yeah, I kind of had to bounce him up, and I kind of bounced him a little too far up, like this, and he ended up dying. Yeah. No! Anyways, now you may hear a slight echo in my voice right now because I have just switched up where I'm recording, and in that case I ended up in a room that is much more echoey. So currently I am working on ways to make it a lot less echoey. So please forgive this next episode or the next few episodes until I get that sorted out. But anyways, here we are starting to build up the beach. This thing is gonna look amazing. We just have to set up a foundation first and then we can start getting to detailing. And once we get to detailing, we can have something beautiful. So the first thing that I want to try to do is to make sure that all of the terrain I'm doing is following the original terrain of the land I'm working on. By doing this, it actually fits into the land better because it looks natural, because that's what I see in my mind when I look at this land. I've been in this world for almost half a year now, and I've seen this part so many times. So I have a specific thing in mind. I don't want to change it up completely, but I want to have an idea of what it used to look like while still changing it enough to make it a new biome. So by keeping the same shape and changing the block, I kind of keep a semblance of what this area used to look like before. Now we got to think about blocks and how we're going to blend it into the surrounding area. So the first thing I want to do is bring in some glow lichen, which is a bit of a greenish yellowish kind of color. Well, I guess kind of greenish bluish, more than that, but the green and blue kind of adds a nice contrast between the yellow of the sand. Well, I guess in this case it's more of a brown, but I'm trying to bring in the grass to the sand with this concrete, which is slightly lighter than grass, and blending it in using this glow lichen. And I think this looks pretty good. Once I get more of this down, hopefully it'll look a lot better. And once I finish building up this area, I want to take a step back and look at it all, because once I get a look at it all, I know exactly what I did wrong or did right. And I think in this case, I managed to do it right because I think the beach blends in perfectly. After working on this beach for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes at this point, I decided it was time for me to go and take a break while exploring for some drowned. I was looking for drowned because I wanted to get myself a trident, because I've, wanted to play with a trident since day one, but I haven't been lucky enough to get a drowned to spawn near me at all. For some reason, drowned are not spawning anywhere near my base, and I don't get it. Why aren't they spawning? I'm even at a temple where the drowned are meant to spawn more frequently, and yet I didn't see a single one. So after about 10 to 20 minutes of this, I ended up just giving up because no drowned were spawning on me, and I could not get myself a trident, and I had no hope of a drowned spawning me anytime soon. So if y'all actually know the reason why no drowned are spawning near me, let me know down in the comments below, because it would be really cool to understand why the drowned aren't spawning. Maybe I can fix it, maybe I can't. Who knows? Maybe you do though. Anyways, I got straight back to work on the beach. So the first thing I wanted to do was get another colored block that was similar to sand, which would be birch, wood types. So that would be the wood planks, the actual stripped logs, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to bring in some other sand variants, such as just sandstone, a smooth sandstone, and that kind of stuff, I also brought in some stone buttons to represent rocks or something. I could maybe even hide in a secret entrance somewhere using those buttons. Who knows? And on top of that, I also decided to add in some boulders because I figured a boulder would help take away from the flatness of a beach and make it look more visually appealing. Another block that I ended up finding was actually really good was actually mushroom blocks, but not the part you'd think of. It's actually the part that's underneath all of the skin of the mushroom blocks. By placing another mushroom block next to a mushroom block, you can actually get rid of that mushroom block to get a secret texture that not many people know about. By doing this, you get a really cool tannish color, which is actually quite beautiful for a beach. And I figured, let's put this out throughout the entirety of the beach. But in order to do that, I need to have mushroom blocks, which I did not have. So I figured, let's go ahead and farm up some mushrooms. And in doing so, I realized, it was middle of the morning at the time, but now it's night. And I figured, let's use Podzol. And I had Podzol, and I was like, what if I start using Podzol around the base to make it look cooler? And then that led me down another rabbit hole of terraforming the rest of my island with some, well, not the rest of my island, at least the area I was working on, with some Podzol. One thing I was thinking about since I was building this beach with a ton of rocks and stuff was actually to include grass. So I bone mealed up a ton of grass and started shearing it to place on the beach itself. And by doing so, it makes a bunch of grass. The reason I'm putting grass here with all the rocks is because I feel like a beach with a ton of rocks like this might be treaded on a lot less than a beach without the rocks, because who would want to step on a ton of rocks when they're trying to vacation? Because that'd be a lot of pain, right? Unless that actually is a thing. If so, then let me know down in the comments below, because I don't know anything about it. But anyways, the reason I'm adding grass is because since it's being less trampled on, I'm assuming more weeds and grass could actually grow. And while I know this is kind of weird, I figured sea pickles might actually look pretty good on the beach as well. So I decided, even though I don't have a sea pickle farm right now, I can set up at least some coral reefs in my beach and start growing some sea pickles like this. So I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and make some sea pickles and let's place them throughout the beach to add some extra details. On another note, beaches tend to be a little bit on the flatter side because sand is very easy to fall and be affected by gravity. And in that case, I wanted to make it look flatter by adding in some slabs, because slabs make things look more rounded, or well, not really rounded. They give it a better curve, which makes things look, I guess, flatter in these cases, because the blocks are closer in size and it just kind of works. So let's go ahead and get one more quick look at what we've done with the beach so far before I get distracted, as I inevitably do. I think the beach looks pretty good, although it is a little bit flat. I think I just need to add something in to separate that flatness by maybe adding a tree. For example, a palm tree. Now, let's take a few seconds to think back a couple of episodes and think about what Tommy has asked me to do. When I was building Tommy's house, he actually had the brilliant idea to build a leap of faith off of his house, and I decided, you know what, that's a pretty good idea. Let's roll the clip real quick.
I can do the leap of faith thing from here.
Yeah?
You should put a hay barrel down at the bottom.
Oh, I actually should. That'd be a good spot. And by barrel, I'm pretty sure he meant wagon. Like a hay wagon from, I think it was Assassin's Creed. I am sorry to say this, but I've never played an Assassin's Creed game in my life, so I don't know whether or not this is what I need to do. But this just seemed right, so I did. And with a simple hop, skip, and a cut, we have actually finished the thing. And I figured, you know what? We can take Ronan right here and put him in front of the cart as if he's the one that's pulling it. I think that works pretty cutely. And this is the wagon that I ended up designing, and I think it looks pretty good, all things considered. Let's go ahead and test it real quick to make sure that I can actually use this as a leap of faith. Because if I die on this while, having faith in my leap, I think that'd be pretty sad. I'd honestly condemn that leap of faith. Good, look at that. No health, no damage taken. Huge. Anyways, with that distraction out of the way, we can go ahead and get back to working on our palm tree because this seems like it'd be a fun project. Of course, the thing is, I haven't built that many palm trees in my time on Minecraft, so this is maybe like the third or fourth one I've ever done. So yeah, forgive me if this looks terrible, but I am testing here on survival. I don't do creative test worlds that frequently, and if I do, I usually don't stick to the script. So let's see what happens here. So currently, we are in the very, very ugly phase of tree building. And that is the basic outlines, because basic outlines look terrible. Like, look at this, why is it so flat? It doesn't look anything like a palm tree in my opinion. I think it looks pretty terrible. Let's try to fix this up as we continue to change the shape up throughout the entirety of this process. Of course, one of my biggest recommendations to do when building something you don't really know what you're doing for, I would recommend looking up a ton of references, because I had to look up so many different references of palm trees to realize the fact that I needed to put some more leaves up top to help make the shape feel more full and like it's falling in a way. I don't know. Because like palm trees are very bushy and you need that kind of bushy in order for it to look good. And that's what I ended up having to do. During my research, I ended up finding out that palm trees actually have a special name for this part right here that I'm building. So basically there's a brown section on the palm trees which is kind of near the bottom of all the leaves, and that's actually due to the fact that these are decaying palm fronds. Basically, those are the leaves. And palm trees are known as being a self-cleaning kind of tree. So these trees will have leaves that fall off and eventually die, or well, they don't really fall off, they kind of die and then fall off. And that's what leaves that little brown section. And that's why you see that part. And I want to make sure that this tree looks like it's older and it's been here for a while. So I made sure to include this decaying palm frond area. So now let's go ahead and get a look at what we've done so far with this one palm tree. And I also need to build several more palm trees on this beach, but I don't know if I'll have time in this episode since I'm just kind of lazy and I don't really want to build another tree at this time. So maybe in the future I'll add some more when I get to work on this beach biome even further. And you might have thought I was done with one singular beach, but no. I actually need to build two because I want this area to feel like a pretty big beach. Because I want this beach to, I don't know, make up a good portion of my city, I guess. It just seems like the right choice here. Because I feel like adding a beach with the Italian vibe and the medieval vibe could be pretty interesting. Don't know what I'll do with it, but I think I can work around it pretty well. And since y'all saw most of my process in the last beach, I'm gonna skip a lot of it because it's basically the exact same thing, just without the palm tree because I didn't have enough time or want to build another tree at this moment in time. Yeah. Anyways, it's time for another distraction because yes, I want to get myself another beacon. Since I have to do a little bit of terraforming on the beach, I want to have an extra beacon so I can at least cover the area with some mining stuff. What is it? Haste? Yeah. And let's go ahead and grab some more wither skeleton skulls. I've already gotten two. Let's go get ourselves one more. By the time I got my 3 wither skulls, I ended up heading back and actually spawning in wither to gather myself. For some reason, my audio wasn't being recorded, even though Tommy's was, so it's really weird. But just know I was screaming a lot because this wither was chasing after me. Yeah, look at that.
He's chasing us!
That's terrifying. But anyways, we got ourselves our wither skull, wither star. No, we got ourselves our nether star. That's what we got. And we ended up crafting ourselves beacons to start using and finishing up the beach. Anyways, to wrap up the beach project, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've done on this side of the beach because, you know, it's the same as the other side as I mentioned earlier. Only difference here is that it doesn't have the palm trees like I said, and I actually added in some wheat because I figured the yellow would be a nice color to add to this entire thing to help make it pop. I also brought in some more leaves to also add more color, and I think the green helps to make this area look a lot more alive. I know this episode might seem a little bit rushed because of how quick everything went and how scuffed it is due to my audio, so I really do apologize for that. But I'm hoping the next episode should be better. Maybe not, I don't know. But I have some pretty big plans, and hopefully y'all stick around and check out the next episode, because that episode is going to be quite a lot of work, and I think there's going to be some funny moments in there, though I might not get all of them. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and of course, have a good one, y'all.